Okay, I'm going to show you quickly how I tie up a puppy's ears so that you don't have to. A lot of people, sit Lily, will use like tubes or something on the inside or a bunch of tape, or they'll glue the ears together to get them to stand. I'm not a big fan of those various different things. You could technically, Lily, sit please, just shave the ears so that they aren't so heavy, but then they're not necessarily guaranteed to stand, and once you do that you take away the possibility to tie them up like I'm going to show you. So I don't think that's the best idea. So what I do is, you can see I'm using Lily here because her ears are floppy, and when she has her head and she's not mad at me, they will drop down. But she doesn't have as much hair, so we'll have to kind of pretend here as you would see on a puppy. So what I'm gonna do, sorry about the sniffling, I have crazy bad allergies. What I'm going to do is take on the back of her ear here, right, you know, here's the edge of the ear toward her head. I'm gonna take some hair here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it over and I'm gonna take some hair on the top of her head and bring them together. So you have this little, whoops, there you go, Lil. Good girl. So I have this little bit of hair that is together like that. And then what I'm gonna do is use these, which are little braces rubber bands. If you don't have somebody that has braces, or you can't get any of these, you can get, they do sell, like in the beauty section where people who do like little braids, they have little teeny tiny rubber bands, and you can use those. But if you can get the braces ones, do it, because they're really nice for this. Okay, so here we have Lily, and I'll show you what happens when I grab that piece of hair and then the hair on the top of her head and bring it together. You can see that it makes her ear stand up. Now what you want to do is put your finger on the inside of the ear and feel the ear leather, that it's smooth completely around where you have it. Because what'll happen is, if you grab the hair from too high up on the ear, it'll wrinkle it down, and you can't really see it very well, but there is a crease in her ear leather right here. You don't want that. So make sure you don't go too high on the ear leather, and bring it over. And now we have that hair, and you can see that it puts her ear up nice, and we don't have any creases. So then, Lily, you stay right here. I know you don't like it, honey, it's okay. Take that little itty bitty rubber band, and you're going to rubber band that ear hair together. So it's not gonna work on Lily because she does not have enough hair, but you'll do that. Now, notice that when we do that, the tip of her ear still falls. Now, in a Sammy puppy, this is generally because it's just too heavy. So what I will do is, after I have this in, I will trim the hair around, just kind of run it in front of the ear leather, trim it up. You'll kind of be able to start to see how there's, you know, they tend to get like a little rim of a lot of fuzz. So I'll get that off, and once the weight is off, they almost always stand right up. Now, let's say we have, Lily, please behave, cooperate. Let's say we have our ears pinned up, and now what I do is I get them up, I get them trimmed, I let the dog go run around for a little bit. Not crazy, because they don't want her to pull them out. Usually they'll scratch a little bit. I kind of try to get them to chill out on the scratching, but I don't make a huge deal out of it. Then, after they've been running around a little bit, I put my fingers in and feel that that ear leather isn't creased at all, that everything looks good, and I like how they're standing and where they are. Once they're perfect, I will go in and take super glue and actually super glue that rubber band right into their hair. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up with that rubber band coming out constantly, and your puppy is gonna become head shy because they don't want you to be grabbing at their face and doing this to them constantly. Now that doesn't mean rush and super glue them in. I have taken a couple of days to just put the rubber bands in, see how I like it, let them go run around and see how I feel about it. Don't rush into, because if you have to cut that super glue out and do it over, you're gonna have way less hair to deal with and you are going to regret it. Okay, now Mars is trying to run away with my tennis shoe, but I'm gonna go grab her and show you her ears. Hey, little Martian. Come here, sweet pea. Good girl. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Here is Mars, and you can see, whoops, her ears are up. She's kind of mad, so they're a little off to the side now. And that goes to show you, even when they're tied up like this, they do have mobility in their ears. She can still perk them up when she looks at something. She can still pin them to the sides when she's ticked. So, I'm gonna hope that you can see this well here. There, you can kind of see where her ear hair, I have, stop, Mars, I know, honey, it's okay. But I'm hoping that you can see where she has, like right here is, hey, it's all right. Where we have, so I have, oops. Hey. It's really complicated with this in the back, with the video camera being in reverse. So we have some hair from the ear and some hair from the top of her head brought together, and then there's this little wad of super glue right there, and that's gonna keep her ear up. And you can kind of tell, you can see there, if you look at her ear hair where it's trimmed, you can see I kind of trimmed, it's just on this top part of the ear leather that I've trimmed. So you don't have to get crazy about trimming the whole hair, the whole ear, and you don't want to get down to where you're grabbing hair from, obviously, because then you're going to run out of hair. So you just want to kind of do the tip so that it doesn't have, because when I first put hers up, her tips flopped over like that. We don't want to have that, so then we'll trim that, and hers have been standing beautifully. Now Mars has pretty, I don't know, average-ish size ears, I guess I would say. Now her sister Red has tiny little teddy bear ears right now. They're getting a little bit bigger in the last couple weeks, but when I first did them, they were really tiny. So when I pulled them over, it was like, and she has tons of head fuzz. So it was crazy because it was so much fuzz, and then the ears were barely up. So the thing is to not necessarily look at it from, you know, the standpoint of looking at it how it looks perfect, is get your finger in there and make sure you feel that the leather is all up and nice curved around before you glue anything in, because you don't want to be solidifying a crimp into that ear. Because what's happening right now is this is the time when, good girl, this is the time when that cartilage in their ear is starting to solidify. If it starts to solidify with a crease in it, that crease is likely to always be there. If you can get it to start to solidify without any creases in it by getting them tied up this way, or doing all of the other crazy things you can with taping them or gluing them or whatever, then they're likely to stay without a crease in them. So that's kind of why we're doing this. This is just how I prefer to do it, because, you know, in the case of Mars, she went and rubbed her face in the dirt for about 5 minutes after I did it, and she was completely over it, and it hasn't bothered her since. The most I get is people are always wondering, hey, no fingers. People are always concerned when they go and they, you know, pet her. Oh my gosh, what is that in your dog's hair? It's a wad of super glue. I know it's there. It's fine. So the dog does not care. No puppy I've ever done this with, really, after about 10 minutes, they're over it. They're moved on to the next thing. They don't care at all. So that's how we do it. If you have any questions, you can always check out my photo51pets.com and shoot me an email, and I can help you out.